Hey everyone, sorry that I kind of fell off the face of the planet and everything, but I'm ready to kick this Cyberpunk campaign into high gear. I've already done some writing and stuff. So in the spirit of, social distancing, since this is all going to be online even after hopefully the lockdown is done, I'm going to show you all how to build a character and do it in Roll20 because that's what we'll be using. Make it real easy. So today we're going to be making Danny's character.
Yay!
I'm going to walk her through the whole thing just like I would one of you guys. So any questions she asks, hopefully it'll be in the realm of questions you want to ask. So the first thing is we'll go over the character options that you can choose. If you're not already familiar, this is Cyberpunk 2020. I'm going to go a little bit into the future of that, like 2030 or something. I haven't decided, but futuristic, cliche stuff. This book was written in the 80s, so it can be pretty fun. Okay, you should be looking at the book now. And here's your character options. The first one is Rocker Boys, rebel rockers who use music and revolt to fight authority. You may think of them like bards, but that's not quite correct in Cyberpunk. In the future, rocker boys are like the future lobbyists. They use their influence and music to push political regimes or to push against them. A lot of them are on corporate budgets, and they're pushing,
So they're more like influencers.
Yeah, big like YouTube influencers, except all paid by corporations. Sometimes, of course, like the most famous one, Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves in the new game. Sometimes rocker boys can be like against the system, pushing revolution and stuff like that. Next, you have solos. If you're interested in combat in Cyberpunk, you pretty much want to play a solo. They're your hired assassins, bodyguards, killers, soldiers, as it says. It's not quite like D&D where all classes are created equal for combat. This is a much more role-play focused game, so solos are better in combat. Rocker boys are more socially charismatic, and they can do things that solos can't, but if you're here to shoot stuff, blow things up, maybe solos is your thing. That's what they are.
Basically, be a stereotypical 1980s action hero.
Yeah, totally.
Do everything.
Net runners are your hackers. Of course, you got to have hackers in the future. Although, again, this was written in the 80s where they didn't quite understand what the future of the internet would look like. So it's got a fun sort of Tron Matrix feel to it. When you're a hacker in Cyberpunk, you're going in the web. You are deep diving in there into a virtual reality version of a tangible web where you wield programs like they're spells. You run into walls and security like they're people, and you have to take them down with your programs and your hacking skills. Very strange stuff. In the future, I'm going to in the alternate history, the web isn't kind of like we experience today. It's not sort of unlimited access. Most people operate on an intranet, and there was these cyber wars that have taken down satellites, so the internet is very fragmented. The creator of the game likes to say netrunners are like now the future data archaeologists. They get into places where they're not supposed to, and they find stuff that's left over from when the internet reached everything. Definitely no 5G in this future. Then we have your techies. Techies are separated into like two kinds of techs. You got your techies and your med techs, but either way, they're your doctors and your technicians. And the reason why they lump it all together is, of course, cyberware. Cyberware you put into your body. So in order to be like a cyber doctor, you got to know sort of both these things. But that's not the in and out of it. You can also make, planes and hover vehicles. You can make cyber docks, which is the devices that you need to get into the internet. And you can also do regular surgery and things like that. You're total skill junkies for sure. Then you have your medias. If you want to play like a April O'Neil type character, get into the bottom of these corporate entities, seedy plans and things like that. Or on the opposite side, maybe you work for a corporation and you're trying to push their agendas and put media spins on things. You'll have a lot of access to places that other people won't, since you have the media thing. You can get into places, you can be charismatic, and you can find out the truth and use it however you want.
And get press passes.
Yeah. And you got your cops. Now, cops aren't necessarily like the state or federal law that we have today. They can be; those definitely exist. But much more prevalent, all corporations have like privatized security militia. And when you talk about cops in Cyberpunk 2030 or whatever year I decide to do it in, you're looking at cops can be of any faction. You could be true blue, trying to take down the evil corporations and criminals, or you can be corrupt like most cops in the future, working for a criminal organization or furthering their agenda. I'm sure you're seeing a theme here now. Everything's part of the evil corporate agenda and against the consumer populace. It's all corrupt, dark future dystopia. And the people running this dark future dystopia are the corporates, of course. Corporates are, of course, they work for the corporation, the slick business raiders and multimillionaires. They are in a constant corporate battle between entities, constantly pushing different agendas, trying to get dirt on other corporations, trying to further their own ends. If you want to play a corporate, you're going to have to be like sort of an ex-corporate entity, because this is a new system for me and for all of you. I want to put you kind of fresh into the world, and I want you guys to be able to choose your corporate entity. So if you want to play a corporate, your business might have gone under, or you're fleeing from it, or whatever story you want to whip up, and then you can be fresh into a new corporation as I introduce you to some of the corporations that I'm coming up with for my future world. Obviously, they'll have a lot of power, a lot of influence, and they'll basically run this world. Fixers. Fixers aren't technicians like they sound like. Fixers are like information brokers and smugglers and deal makers. They're your drug lords, crime bosses, people like that. Think like Shawshank Redemption. Red, he's the guy that can get you stuff for the right price.
Or like Michael Cohen.
Yeah, exactly. Those are your fixers. The people that run everything not on the corporate side, the street bosses. And then last but not least, we have the nomads. Nomads are the antithesis of this society. They typically live in the combat zone or on the road, being like gypsy travelers in their biker gangs. They're like mafia dons almost. They run in big families, and the families often have wars. Because they're usually the only ones that are brave enough to travel through the streets and the combat zones, which are terrible places these days. They tend to be the people working in all of the other jobs that people don't want. Your laborers, your builders, construction workers, things like that. Because of that, I've sort of evolved their place in this world. They are still big family organizations that run all of the businesses, but because of that, they've unionized. There are still the sort of the gang mentalities, people running the streets and stuff like that, but a lot of them are now corporatized themselves into big unions, trying to further their own agendas against the corporate entities, kind of fueling that war, that ever-persistent war. Okay, and that's all of our classes in Cyberpunk. Which one do you think you're most interested in?
Oh, so now you put me on the spot.
Mm-hmm. This is just to demonstrate them. If you want to change your character idea later on, but we're going to make you a character to show them how to make a
Got
character.
it. Okay. I don't know. I was thinking of doing like maybe a corporate one, just because I think it would be really cool to
Okay.
see. Well, you know me. I mean, you guys probably do too. About having like minor passions for microeconomic and business theory, and I think all of these are kind of like putting them on like the most extreme form of neo-capitalism
Heck
imaginable.
yeah, I do have some really cool ideas for the future of capitalistic society and politics and stuff.
Yeah, so I think I'd want to do like a corporate, but since we can't have anyone that's like established, I think it might be cool in a way. Maybe I got some sort of like sponsorship or scholarship or something. And then that company folded or relocated and I was kind of left out, but you still owe money, right? So I want to do like a corporate with like some sort of like desperate background. Like I will do anything because I am buried under my student debt.
Cool. Yeah, sounds very realistic.
Not pulling from real life or anything, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So in the book, we'll now go to your what makes up your character, and that's your career skills, and we'll talk about skills. If you're going through the book with me or on your own, you'll get this life path chapter, Tales from the Streets. Don't worry about that. That is basically giving you a cookie cutter background, and it will give you events based off of how long you've been alive and things like that. There can be some bonuses for it, but the bonuses you get are very rare. It's the you get lucky thing here. I would ignore that completely. Come up with your own background story and things like that. Don't worry about making your background too complicated either, because again, I want to start everybody pretty clean slate. You're going to be fresh in this world, able to kind of create your story as you go. So don't worry about that. Go straight into skills. Okay, this will teach you about skill checks. I want to go right here to career skills. So,
should I write these down?
Yes, you should write these down.
Okay. Do you mind if I use this piece of paper?
Go for it. So every class has career skills. If you're not sure about what class sounded right to you, look no further than right here. Your career skills make up your class. They're the skills that you're going to be best in. Including the bold skill. That's your most important skill. Those are called special abilities, and they are exclusive to your class.
Ooh, resources? I like the sound of that.
Mm-hmm. So they are a skill that only you can use as your class, but more than that, your how many points you invest in that bold skill is how successful you are. It determines your starting wealth, for example, and like where you are. For example, if you're a cop, if you put something like 1 or 2 in authority, you're a beat cop, fresh from the academy, not very worth it. But if you put like a 7 or 8 into your authority skill, you're like maybe police commissioner or somewhere around there, maybe into the FBI, so it's a very important skill to determine where you're at. In your case, since you're sort of ex-corporate, where you were and how much influence you still have will be determined by how much points you put into resources.
Makes sense.
Okay, got them all written down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because we are transferring from the book now. Let's see.
Oh, you have to
stop share. And now we're going to go to our Roll20 so we can show you how to make a character. Okay, so this is Roll20. Ignore the background. Danny's signed in here. Up on the top right-hand corner here, you'll see these tabs. You want to go to your Journal tab. Once you have joined my Roll20 session, which I'll be sharing a link for you to do so, I will assign for you a character sheet. I have to be online to do that, so give me a few hours before that pops up. But as soon as I assign you a character sheet, you're going to see something like this in your journal. I named this character Testing since I didn't know what Danny wanted to name her character. So now that I've assigned her a character, she can click on it and she'll get a view something like this: Bio info, character sheet. Okay, don't worry about attributes and abilities. First thing she'll want to do probably is edit bio and info, and that'll bring her to this, and she can come up with a name for herself. Do you have anything in mind? We'll just call her Danny for now. You can edit this at any time. Okay, Danny. If she had a character picture in mind, she could click to upload a picture here, or literally just drag and drop. Everything in Roll20 is drag and drop. So you could just pick a picture from your desktop or whatever, drag in here, and then that'll be your character portrait. Save changes. Okay, now we're gonna actually get into the meat and bones of making your character sheet.
Oh, is that still on this chair?
Oh no, it's not. Close that. Danny, okay.
Can
There's
you
your.
just make it bigger?
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is your character sheet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to start off looking like this. Don't worry about all of this. You can fill it in about your family, your life events if you want. Your handle is just like, that's basically your character name or
Like your street name?
Your street name.
So like I might be Daniel Thaddeus the Third, but I go by
something else, yeah. Everything
Thad
inside.
the Man.
Oh, that's going to be your character now. Everything in Cyberpunk is all 100% style over substance. It's more important to have a cool handle, a cool wardrobe, and a personality than it is to have money or influence, really. Everything, like, it's, again,
the 80s.
Yeah, this was written in the 80s. Anyways, so first we're going to do your statistics. These are like attributes if you're familiar with D&D. There's 9 of them, okay? They are intelligence, reflex, tech, cool, your attractiveness, your luck, your movement allowance, your body type, and your empathy. Okay, I'll go over all of them in brief. Intelligence is pretty self-explanatory, how smart you are. It goes into a lot of intelligence-based skills, like how smart you are in biology, sociology, blah, 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 but also how good you are at finding information and things like that. Moreover, if you're interested in using chipware, this is like chips that you can put into your brain and learn skills. Think like the Matrix, you just plug it in and you're like, I know Kung Fu. That is a thing in this future. If your intelligence determines the amount of chipware you can have at one time. So if that's something that appeals to you, maybe put stuff in intelligence. Moreover, intelligence and reflex combined, we'll talk about reflex next, your intelligence and your reflex skill determine how many pickup skills you gain. So if you just want to have a whole bunch of skills, jack of all trades, intelligence and reflex are going to be high for you. Reflex, excuse me, is very important for skills such as acrobatics and martial arts.
So it's dex.
Yeah, it's basically dexterity. But more than that, it is your accuracy with all weapons, including melee and stuff like that. It's not like D&D where you use strength for melee attack. Hitting things will always be based off of reflex. Reflex and your skill with the weapon. So if you've got a pistol, you're going to roll with your reflex plus your pistol skill to hit things. It is also your initiative, how fast you react in combat. Very important because combat is very fast in this. If you're 2 people with point-blank shotguns, whoever wins an initiative is going to be the one that survives. Period. End of story. Okay, and that's basically and I mentioned skills. Intelligence plus reflex is how many pickup skills you get. We'll go into what that means. Next is tech. Tech is all about skills. I think it's got the most skills available to it. Whether you're hacking, building cyber decks, making or programming air vehicles or robots or any kind of just from hot rods to cyber decks, this is your tech. Also, tech for like med tech for putting cybernetics in people, doing like surgery. All of that's under tech. Cool. Uh, this is not just how cool you are, like what your reputation is, although cool does factor into your reputation. Cool is your ability to keep your cool, like in interrogation and things like that. How cool, calm, and collected you are in any situation. Very important for corporates
For
who really need,
negotiations.
yeah, for who really need to do negotiations and whose reputation is on the stake for every conversation they have. Attractiveness is how good you look and how great your style is. Those are both skills you can put, style and like hair and stuff like that, and makeup. Those are things you can be good at for attractiveness. Don't underplay this. Like I said, style is everything in Cyberpunk. So how good you look is going to be very important, especially if you're a rocker boy, or especially if you're a media, but also, of course, corporates. I mean, we all know the real world. In the corporate chain, how good you look has a great deal of influence on how powerful you become. Luck is the most simple statistic. The amount of points you put into luck give you luck points to spend per session. So let's say there's a really important meeting that you're having as a corporate. This is going to determine the future of your career, and you really don't want to play games with it. Say you put like 4 points in luck. Every session, so every time we meet on Roll20, you will have 4 points of luck to spend that you add to your rolls.
Okay.
You have to determine that before you know the results of your roll. So this is a really important roll. I want to add points to it that you get to pull from your luck stat. So however many luck you want each session, you put it into luck.
Okay.
Movement allowance is very straightforward and easy. It's how fast you move, pure and simple. Your however many points you put into this times 3 is how fast you can move in meters per round. Rounds are like 3 or 4 seconds. And it also determines how much you can leap. Your leap is how fast you can run divided by 4. Okay, real easy. Body type is a big one. It's very important, especially to combat if you're solo. So your body type has certain skills. I think body goes into maybe that's martial arts, but also like fighting or endurance and things like that. How fast, how long you can last.
So basically like fix or solos and like nomads and stuff like that. Like
For sure, for sure. So it goes into some skills, but for the most part, you're determining how strong you are and how enduring you are. So something like 3 or 2 points would be very weak, all the way to like 8 or 9 would be strong, or 10, which is your max, is very strong. I should mention all of these is 2 to 10. You can't go less than 2 points or more than 10 points.
okay.
It determines your carrying capacity. It determines how much you can lift. It also determines your save number, which is like you get shot in the chest. Maybe that didn't take down all of your health, but you might go into shock just because, oh my God, I've been shot.
They've got shock in this one?
They've got everything. It's very, very, very detailed.
Jesus.
Um,
So like theoretically, if you got like, I don't know, stabbed in the foot, that's not going to kill you at all. You're not going to bleed out. Like you could theoretically go unconscious because of shock.
but yeah, your character sees the blood
And it's just done.
and you freak out. Yeah. So the amount of points you put into body type is that as well. You get shot and you put like, if you're total like super strong, you got 10 points in body type, they may put 7 bullets in you before you realize you're dead, you know.
Got it. So you're like the Boromir that has like very clearly 10 arrows that are in his heart.
Yep. If you want to be
keeps going.
You want to be Boromir, put high points into body type modifier. It's also partially your damage soak. If a bullet goes through your armor and hits you, your body type will shave some of the damage off, because you can take damage more like Boromir.
That makes sense.
So empathy is your social and stuff like that. You're going to want to take a lot of this. How well you understand other humans and can relate to them. It'll help with diplomacy and stuff like that.
And to exploit them.
And to exploit them, indeed. But moreover than that, your empathy times 10 is gives you your humanity points. And your humanity points is basically how in touch with humanity you are, because when you start installing cyberware in your body, each cyberware part has a humanity cost. And if you lose too much of your humanity, all the cyberware in your face and in your brain and your body starts to make you less empathetic, more removed, and you start becoming what they call a cyber psycho, where you become so detached from humanity that you start roaming the streets and killing people at random. You can freak out and you don't recognize your own friends anymore. There are whole police divisions out there dedicated to finding cyber psychosis and rehabilitating people for it. So if jacking yourself up and being a full-on cyborg with like shotguns hidden in your arm and like, eyes that see through walls, totally possible, but make sure you have a lot of empathy.
So when it comes down to empathy, if you run out of empathy scores or you're becoming like a cyborg psycho or whatever it is, does that mean that like the player relinquishes control of their character because they're just like not in control?
I mean, I'm pretty lenient on those things. The book says that when you get to a certain level of empathy, then yes, you're an NPC, you're an enemy, you're going to turn on people.
You're probably arrested, thrown in a jail cell, and like forcibly rehabilitated.
Definitely.
Got it.
I like making things story-based, so if you start going down that path, I'm going to really make the environment be your penalty. You're going to really start seeing the effects of losing your humanity and what that means. I love playing with psychology, so I will punish you hard if you go down on the empathy scale, but it'll be all in fun, right?
Okay.
All right, so you get 56 points to spend on your statistics.
It's 2 through 10, and for the 2, that's for free, right? So everything starts out at 2?
No. 2 factors into it.
Okay.
Any points you spend go towards your 56 total. And I'll post that somewhere else too, so everybody can have this video and a guide on how many points you get to spend. But that's 56 points. You won't find that in the book. That's determined by the game master, which is me. So 56 is the amount of points I decided on.
Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Right.
9. So no matter what, 18 off the bat is done because everything has to go to 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Okay.
a good way of looking at it.
Okay, so let's see. That would be 4, 16, 8. So 38. So I've got 38 points since everything's at 2.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And 10 is like
10
you're the best in the world at this. No one can beat you.
Right. Yeah. 10 the only way you can get past a 10 in something is by cybernetic enhancements, and those are rare. So 10 is among the best for sure. I won't say that there's no one in the world who has a 10 in something, but yes, you are.
But you're looking at like billionaire Bill Gates probably has a 10 in a couple of things because of the cybernetic.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I can't adjust.
Oh, sorry. Here, you're. I don't know how you managed to edit that, but you put it here.
Oh, got it.
For everybody, you type it in there for what you want.
Got it. Okay, so I've got 2. I'm just doing this just to.
And if everybody noticed, pause real quick. Everything updates. When she put in her empathy, her humanity automatically populated.
Oh, that's
when
cool.
she put in a body type, all of a sudden you have your lift and carrying capacity and your run right there, movement allowance. So everything is automatically generated on this character sheet.
And then like, I'm sure you're gonna get to this. The temp mods down here are like if you have any equipment or cybernetics that increase things or whatever.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll tell you to put in temporary mods and stuff like that. Don't worry about that.
Okay. There's my 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then I probably want to do, let me just do my like highlights here. Okay, I'm squishy. Don't really care about body type. I'm a soft, delicate flower in my corporate job. Probably not very good with movement. I might go to the gym to pick up the ladies. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you go to the gym and all, consider getting at least, I want to say like 3 or 4 points into body type. 5 to 7 is considered like on average. Just because, I mean, corporates get shot. You're going to carry a lot of money around with you, probably.
True. And I probably have a nice corporate gym that I can go to that's all specifically sanctioned with deals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely thinking that cool has to be my number one stat.
For sure.
For sure. Cool is my number one stat. Attractiveness, probably number 2. You know, I have to have the pretty face. And then intelligence, of course, because there's a lot of like skills that I have to research. I get library research, I get stock market, I get education.
She's
I'm probably
about
educated.
Her career skills right now.
Yeah, sorry, my career skills. And then, I would probably tie tech and body.
Don't forget about empathy. That's your diplomacy and stuff.
Empathy. Why didn't I write empathy down? Empathy. Okay, right. Okay. So I'm going to switch that. I'm going to do empathy will be. Actually, I'll do empathy over intelligence. You don't really have to be intelligent if you get people to agree with you. Okay.
True. Look at our current president.
4. And then I'll do body type and tech will be tied. Because obviously, like, I want to have tech in this world. And then reflex, movement. I put luck and tied with 5. Okay. So I've got my ranking. 38. So I probably want like, if I do 7 for cool. So 38 minus 7. 31. And do like 6 empathy. 6 attractiveness minus 12. 1, 9, 18. Okay, I'm not doing too badly here.
Don't feel too much pressure. You can always change it later.
Oh, actually, I'm doing this wrong. That would be, I'd add 4, so that'd actually be 2, 4, 6. I'd add plus 6.
Yeah, I feel like you confuse yourself more by putting 2
I
in
do.
everything.
You know what? Like, this is just my life right now. Okay. Can I figure this out later? I feel like it's going to take me a while just to do all my math.
Well, let's plug in some numbers randomly then.
Okay. So
you can always change it later.
True. Okay. So I want that's body type. Okay. So empathy. So we're gonna make empathy my highest stat. And we're gonna go up to like an 8. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 8 there, and then we're going to do cool. Absolutely. We'll do like 7. Then we'll do like attractiveness. Will be like 6, and then just say 2. Let me do this. 5. I don't really care about going first. I have bodyguards for that. Tech. I've got 5.
By bodyguard, she means you, the other player.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I am the resources and the face. I sound so conceited.
Good. Okay, that's not 56 points, but that's enough that I can show you guys rolls later, okay? So fill these in again, 56 points total. Now we're going to talk about your skills. Skills is the last thing I want you to do. Don't worry about equipment or cybernetics or anything. So you're going to tab over. You see these tabs on your character sheets. And
oh, they're little buttons.
Skills. Boop.
That's cool.
Yep. So here's all your skills. First thing you want to do is look for your career skills. She wrote them down. I showed you the page, though, where you can find them. I'll be linking you to the book as well. Or if you can't get the book or download that link, just ask me. I'll tell you what your career skills are. So first, look at your special ability. I think yours was
resources.
Resources. So determine how much you want to put into that.
How many points do we get for skills?
Oh, I'm sorry. So career skills, you get 40 points to spend. Okay. These are only on your career skills.
Only on the ones I wrote down.
Yes. Ignore every other skill.
Okay. Cool. Resources being the only skill that corporates get.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And that one determines your wealth
And I'm assuming
status.
we're still doing with a 10 scale, right? 10 being like you are like Bill Gates rolling in.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, you won't have a 10 in anything, or if you do, then all of your other skills are going to be really low. But yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to
But
know.
this one doesn't have a minimum of 2, by the way. This one you can just put 1 point in it if you want.
So with resources, I feel like I want to go higher, but I feel like a 4, like I'm indebted. My company went under, I'm probably not, starting my career, poor college kid that just graduated. So I'm going to go with like a 4. I think that's pretty good. I think that'll give me enough money to subsist on probably and stave off the debtors for at least the first session. And then let's see, I've got awareness, notice, human perception, education, library, social, persuasion.
I believe awareness is in the intelligence skills. Yeah, awareness.
Okay. I can also do a quick search through this, right? So like if I do Control F.
I don't think this character sheet is set up with Control F.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. I'm going to do.
And if you have any question about what one skill particularly pertains to, let me know, or they're all in the book. Skill descriptions start on page 46 of the book.
So I'm educated. So I'm gonna put like a 3. Maybe I'll do that a 4. I don't know. And then social, definitely social butterfly. Social.
Should be under empathy.
Got it. It is. Okay. Social.
Put them in the left, part there. IP, I'll tell you guys about IP. You won't have any yet, but those are improvement points. Improving your skills is a lot like Skyrim. I have to assume everybody at this point in life has played Skyrim. You use skills to improve them. Every time you use a skill, I'm probably going to give you an improvement point for it.
I get persuasion. But it says persuasion and fast talk. Are those the same?
Yeah, they're basically the same.
Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty persuasive, -3, 5. Convince those professors to pass me even though I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, fast talk is very important for corporates.
Yeah. And then I'm probably gonna do something into. It says stock market. That has to be over here.
Intelligent stock market.
Yeah, right here for sure. Financial analyst all the way. So we're gonna put 3 into that. Ooh, wardrobe and style. I'm gonna put stuff into that.
That's probably in the under attractiveness.
Wardrobe and style. Yes. Okay. It's the 80s. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, it's written in the 80s. We're actually in like the 2030s or 40s.
Oh, and then I can also put some in personal grooming. No, we're gonna.
Important.
Yep. I'm at 15. Human perception. That would be good. Social, maybe?
Empathy.
Empathy. Human perception. I'm going to put this kind of high. Put that at a 5. 5. So now I have 10 left. I'll do library search. That'll be good. That'll be intelligence, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Intelligence. 4, 6.
Yeah, and if you change your mind, you can always change these. This is just to demonstrate to the other people how to do this.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'll just put the remaining 6 in awareness.
Cool, which is in intelligence.
Oh.
There you go.
6.
So one thing I want all of you guys to do, if this sounds too complicated, don't worry about it, but I would prefer all of you guys do this, especially anybody that's interested in tech. What I want you guys to do is go over to this skill setup check mark right here and click that, okay? It'll show you all the skills. I want you to turn off in the tech, where is it? I want you to turn off AV tech. We are not using AV tech. I'm lumping that in with Aero tech, okay? They're gonna be the same skill. After you've made that red by clicking on it, go back to this check mark, okay? And then what I want you to do is go down here to the bottom of tech. Where is tech? Technical skills, okay? And you're going to go right here. It says add. Oop. And you're going to put robotics. Can you just type in robotics there? Okay, and I think you just click over or hit enter, maybe? Oh, no, it's just going to stay there.
And then you can click this to roll it.
Yeah, you can click anything to roll, which I'm going to show you guys. That should just stay there. Anyways, if that sounds too complicated, don't worry about it. But robotics is going to be a skill, and I want you guys to be able to put points into that if you want. That's building robots, not programming robots. That's still going to be in computers and intelligence. But building robots is going to be more prevalent than AV tech, where the 80s thought everything would be helicopter pads and helicopters and shit in the future. Okay, so other than that, so you've done your career skills. Last thing you need to do when you're done is your pickup skills. Go ahead and look at your intelligence plus your reflex. Reflex is probably going to be more than that, but you just did these randomly, of course. We'll say like a 4 in reflex, right? Oh, you have numlock on. 4, okay. So 6 plus 4.
10. So I have 10 points to spend in pickup skills.
Yeah, and these pickup skills are everything but your career skills.
Got it.
So if you wanted to...
So basically everything except for this.
No, those are special abilities. Your career skills are the ones you wrote down.
Oh, right. No, but I mean, like, I can't pick up one of these because those are career specific.
Right, yeah, exactly. No one can pick up special abilities except for the one special ability that you have.
And these 10 are not part of the career skills. So anything that I didn't write down, I could put points into.
So if you want to have training with handguns, you want to be a dancer, a chemist randomly, or whatever, these are all the side training that you have done that aren't part of your normal career advancement. Got it.
I can do those later.
No, yeah, okay, just fill in 1 or 2 for me so we can show them roles.
I'll do a handgun. It's Cyberpunk. Probably want to learn how to use a gun. Mm-hmm. Right.
True.
Sure. And you know what? Whatever. I go to the gym. I know judo.
You know judo. Sweet. All right. So now she's done. Theoretically, she hasn't spent all of her points. But remember, there's your pickup skills are your intelligence plus your reflex. Career skills, you get 40. That is in the book. Everybody gets 40 points. I didn't determine that. Okay, so now she's done. This is all I want any of you guys to do. And if you want to play around with it, now I can say, hey, make an attractiveness check. You just hit that button. You can go over here. It automatically rolled.
Oh, and it even gives you your range.
Sorry. That was me testing it earlier. There you go. You roll a 7 on your attractiveness. Oof. Cool. Let's say you want something that's an attractiveness skill. Like let's roll your personal grooming. You just click on it. You put in any modifier that you have that I give you or that you have for maybe your hair glows. There is cybernetic enhancement for like.
Or like hair. This person's really into redheads and I happen to be a redhead.
Yep. Okay. So +2 modifier for redheads. Got it. Submit. There you go. Personal grooming 19. Good roll. And it breaks it down right here. Oh, it did something that I haven't taught you guys yet, but the exclamation point there means it's compounding. If she rolled a 10, she gets to re-roll that 10. But she rolled a 7. Her attractiveness, personal grooming is a 4. Her attractiveness is a 6. You can see +6, +2 for the modifier. Breaks it down all right there. Okay?
That's nice.
Everything on this character sheet is a button, okay, and it's all it all compounds. Like I haven't taught you guys about combat yet, but say you just took a serious wound. I'm going to click on this. Watch your stats. Boop. See your reflex went down. You're mortally wounded now. Boop.
Jesus.
See, automatically changes. You lose cool and reflex, and then it'll go here.
It's interesting that your body type never changes.
Your body type won't change now, even in combat. Because The only thing that would change about your body type is you taking injury, and that's taken right here anyway. So
Mhm.
no matter what body type you have, you'll always be able to shirk off that much damage. Now, what you're thinking of is for shock value. That
Mhm.
does change. The more wounded you are, the more of a penalty you take on that shock.
On your cool.
Yeah, well, cool doesn't actually go into shock. Your save number will always be your body type against a roll of a 1d10 plus it
Mm.
is your save number. So your save number, you have a body type of 5. I mean, this is more than you guys need to know, but she asked. You have a body type of 5. So every time you get shot, you're going to roll a 1d10 and try to get less than or equal to a 5.
Oh, wow.
You're
Okay.
saving against your body type.
Got it.
Okay.
So, like, right there, that's a 50%.
Yeah. Body type of 5. I mean, it's fast and dirty combat. Like, it's
And there's
true.
no revivify, right? Like, you dead.
Every round you get to make that. So you get shot, you might get taken out of combat because you're in shock, but you can recover from shock
Okay.
the next round and get up all dramatic like and stuff like that. But once you're dead, you're dead. And I mean, this game takes things seriously. You get shot in the leg, you got a trip to the hospital, and it'll tell you how long you're in the hospital. Like, take cover, guys. This is real life here. Okay, well, that's about it. Do you have any other questions just about skills and statistics?
No.
Because that's all I want people to do.
Oh, so this box over here that says chip, that's like what you're talking about with cybernetics, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so like if I had like a chip here, I could add that as like a bonus. Not that we have those, but that's what that box is, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's never going to be a bonus because your chip skill always overrides whatever skill you have in it.
Okay.
Because a computer chip in your brain is never a substitute for real knowledge. In fact, you can only get up to a I don't want to say +3, it's not a modifier. You can only get up to a 3 in any skill with a chip.
Okay.
Okay. So if you already know about biology and you want to chip, say you have a 2 in biology, you can put a chip for 3 biology and you'll learn a little bit more. But you can't improve your chip. You can't get improvement points. You can't learn more on top of your chip. It's just basic knowledge plugged in your head. It doesn't get more unless you program it for more, and even then, it's only a 3.
Okay. That was it.
Okay. Well, cool. I will everywhere I post this video, I will post a link to the Roll20 groups. You guys can get in. I can assign you a character sheet. And
Should we switch it back to us?
yeah, well, they're watching us in the little
Oh.
window. But yeah, so anyways, I will assign you a character sheet as soon as I see that you have joined my Roll20 campaign. Again, give me an hour or two. I'm not always on Roll20, believe it or not. And then once you're in, I've got you on the character sheet. You're in my campaign. We'll talk about hours of availability. We may not be able to work with everybody's schedules, but I want this to be a kind of in and out thing. I want at least 2 character people that are going to be able to commit to every session, which will either be on a weekly, bi-weekly schedule, depending on what everybody wants. But everybody else, if you can only make it once a month, I want you to pop in, play with us, and leave. So if you're interested in it all and you're willing to dedicate some time to make a character sheet, I want to play with you. So do
Cool.
that, and we'll see how many people pop up. I look forward to playing with you guys.
Bye, guys.